What's up everybody, Nick from HybridPhysiques. I want to cover a topic that I don't see a lot of videos on, I don't see a lot of information on, and that's cutting weight. Making a weight class that your body is not naturally at. So, to start off, I wrestled most of my life. 9th grade all the way through Division I college. I went to the elite level. I did the whole 9. I cut weight every Tuesday for my Wednesday match and every Friday for my Saturday tournament. I did that for 8 years. I consider myself an expert in this category. It carries over into bodybuilding and powerlifting because as we enter into these competitions, those who are just not doing it for fun and actually competitive, someone like myself, I like to win, but I can't stand to lose. So I'm going to take everything I can and have an advantage over my competition. Now, when we take the human body, we'll take myself right now, I'm sitting in the low 180s. If I was going to enter in some sort of a wrestling tournament, I would get to the lowest possible weight that I could, so I would have the strength of a 182-pound male in a weight class of about 150. It's a huge, huge advantage. Same with bodybuilding. If you're a bodybuilder and you're weighing, you're a lean 158 and you're trying to compete in bantam, you suck all that water, you get down to 150, and hopefully we can rejuvenate and pop out the muscles again. I'm still going to be that much larger than somebody coming from, 150 pounds or weighing 148. I'm going to be 8 pounds larger in the same weight class. When you're on stage, it's a dramatic difference. It's night and day, and I can show you photos because it's exactly what I did. Now, in powerlifting, it's the same philosophy. You're going to have the strength of a 162, 165 pound male competing in a 150 pound weight class. It's going to make a drastic difference. Number one, when do we cut water? When do we start manipulating water and taking water out of the body to make the weight class? I always did it about 24 hours previous to my weigh-in. Now, if you start cutting water before that, there's probably a couple things wrong. You probably didn't prepare properly going into this weigh-in or properly going into this tournament to be cutting this much water. Now, when you are cutting more than a day out, you start becoming what we call sucked out. That's when you remove too much water from your system too quickly. You're not properly nourishing your body, and when you come to tournament day, you're extra weak, you're lethargic, you're actually lightheaded, you're not all there. It's called being sucked out. We want to avoid that at all costs. Now, you will be a little sucked out no matter what because we are removing we are removing water from our system that our body needs to function properly. So, 24 hours out, we're going to start cutting weight and cutting water. I like to do it personally the night before, about 6 hours before I go to bed. Once again, because I'm a professional, because I've done this so long, I know my body so well to the point that that's exactly what I do. If it's your first time, I'd give yourself a little more room, 24 hours, something of that nature, to start cutting water. And I would even do a test run well before your tournament or well before your weigh-in. So you understand what you're getting yourself into because it is a completely different feeling. When you're sucking a lot of water, your tongue gets dried out, you stop sweating, you're miserable, you can't sleep. It's something different you need to experience before doing it on game day or show day. So, 24 hours before, you're going to start sucking water. I would say you should be, the day before, you should be down to body weight enough to be about 6 pounds, and 6 pounds is even a lot. 6 pounds is absolutely maximum to be cutting the day before. That's starting to get to be a stretch, and you will sacrifice strength if you're doing anything more than that. Now, strategies to cut water. My number one was always the hot tub. Okay? When we start doing something like cardiovascular activity, running, elliptical, something like that with sweats on, which I've done for wrestling 100 times, that starts taking away from your energy stores. You start becoming extremely lethargic and weak. And even as a wrestler, I had to perform the entire next day. A tournament would last absolutely all day. So as I got older, I wisened up. I got my diet in check, and I didn't have to cut that much weight. And if I did, it was only about 4 or 5 pounds. So the number one is the hot tub. It's what I used. It was my absolute favorite. You're going to fill a hot tub with water as high as you could take it, as hot as you could take it. You're going to submerge your body. I went all the way up to my chin, and I would do it in 10-minute blasts. Every 10 minutes I was submerged in hot water. I know that I would lose about 0.8 of a pound. That's me. Everyone is different. The more water you have in your system or the more overweight you are, the more water weight you're going to be able to take out of your system. The more dehydrated you are, the less you're going to take out of your system. So at the end of my cuts, I was finding I was losing about 0.6 of a pound every 10 minutes. Now, after you get out of the hot tub, 10 minutes is up, you should have the water right up to your neck for 10 minutes. And it's going to be extremely uncomfortable, especially when you're starting to get dehydrated. You come out, you towel dry off, get all the water off yourself, check your weight. I would wait about another 10 to 15 minutes, boom, blast again in the hot tub. I would do this probably till I was about, we'll say, a pound over, because through your sleep you will sleep some weight off, and we will continue on this subject a little later. My second strategy was the sauna. Now, even today I still see, because I still am relatively active in the wrestling community, and I still as well speak and train bodybuilding, and I assist people with powerlifting to make weight. The sauna, I giggle sometimes when I walk in the gym where I see somebody in a sauna with sweatshirts and sweatpants on, and they're taped up like they're running or something, and just covered in clothing in the sauna. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sucking weight. I gotta cut the shit. Take all that stuff off. You're wasting your damn time. It's not proactive. The way we're gonna manipulate water in the sauna, you go in completely ass naked, or if it's a public sauna, wear a bathing suit or boxer briefs. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a credit card or a gift card. Okay? You let yourself be covered in a layer of sweat. You start dripping a little bit. You take that credit card and you rub it against your skin like a squeegee, and you remove the water from your skin all the way across your body, all the way, stomach, squeegeeing all that water off. You should be bone dry all the way through. What this does is it tricks your body. Your body produces sweat to cool off. Okay, that's a primary function of sweat, is to cool your body off because you're overheating. So when we're removing the sweat from that front layer of skin, it's tricking your body into producing another layer of sweat, and it continues, and it's a revolving cycle. I used to sit in the sauna, 15-minute blast, something of that nature, constantly squeegeeing off. I'd go out, I'll towel dry, I'd check my weight. That's my second. It's not my favorite, and you're going to see as you start doing this for your first couple times, it is absolutely miserable. It's not just peaches and cream sitting in a sauna just sweating. It's not like you're in Cancun, Mexico, fucking having a couple cocktails and getting in the sauna to take out toxins out. It is very, very difficult, and it takes a lot of mental strength. This is what separates someone who is in first place, second place, to someone who's just doing this for fun, or someone who's just entering a powerlifting meet for fun. Okay? This is what makes champions, that mental toughness. It's the same thing with your diet. Sticking to a diet as far as a bodybuilding prep is extremely difficult, and it's all mental. It's all mental game. This is the same exact mental toughness. My third strategy for cutting weight, and I utilize this for my Natural Mania show. It's extremely tedious, and it's very, very lazy. This is manipulation by water of the mouth. So what I would do is I would take a bunch of some sort of sour gum, or sour gum. Sometimes I would use Jolly Ranchers, and you chew it, and you spit constantly. You spit into a bottle. Why do I do this? And you may sit there and be like, okay, that's never going to work. Yes, it does. I've lost pounds of weight by spitting. Why? There are certain circumstances where this is your only option. For example, going into my Natural Mania show, I was competing at Bantam 150 pounds, and the morning before the show I was 155 pounds. The problem was that I had got my tan put on that Thursday, because I had to leave for Boston the next morning, that Friday morning. I didn't have an option. I paid for my tan, and I'm from the Hartford County area in Connecticut. I got my tan done here, and I went to Boston the next day. I was covered in tan. You can't start sweating because it ruins your tan. My only option, and once again, this is because I've done this 150 times. I know what I'm doing. I use the spit method. So the whole drive to Boston and just hanging out, I was spitting into a bottle. My meals for that day were 1 ounce of turkey, literally 1 ounce, and 1 rice cake. That was my carb up for my bodybuilding show. And if you're a competitive bodybuilder, you know that's absolutely nothing. However, me going into the show at a bantamweight, getting on stage with people whose natural body weights were 148, and they carb up to 150 to make that 150 and be right at the top. I was a huge, huge bantamweight. I was belittling these people who were the same height as me, that's technically the same weight, but it was night and day. I was massive compared to these other people I was standing next to. So the gum method worked for me in that circumstance, and what you're going to do once again is you're just going to pop some gum in your mouth, keep spitting into a bottle, And the gum and whatnot keeps you salivating and you're able to spit more. Now, if you're going to use the spit method, I'll be very careful with any sour gums or sour candies because as you do this for prolonged time, your taste buds will get burned off your tongue. It's happened to me multiple times. Literally, layers of skin come off. It's extremely painful because you're literally burning everything off your tongue. I know what everyone's probably thinking. I could go ahead and just take a water pill. I could go ahead and just take a laxative to take out some of the weight, but these strategies take a lot of energy out of your system. It does not seem that way, but it does. I've done it before. I did it in college. I used X-Lax, liquid diuretics, everything to purge all kinds of water out of my system to make weight. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst way, in my opinion. It sucks your body. And tell you the fucking truth, you're just a lazy fucking asshole if you're going to take this route. You don't deserve to be on, you don't even deserve to be out there, deserve to get that gold because you're half-assing your way to victory. Come on. Do it the right way. Monitor your diet properly going into the show or competition. And if you need to, lose the water weight the proper way, the safer way, the non-chemical way. Everything natural, in my opinion. Stay away from diuretics and chemicals as much as you possibly can. Another part 2 of cutting weight. Now, if you put anything in your system, you're obviously going to gain weight. So everything you're putting in the 24 hours before has to be extremely strategic. Extremely. You need to properly gauge the amount of carbohydrates you're taking in for energy and properly gauge the amount of proteins you're taking in to maintain muscle mass as far as bodybuilding. You cannot waste any calories at all when it comes to making weight. So if you're going in, you can't, if you think you're going to have your normal meals when you're sucking weight, throw that right out the damn window. Just don't even waste your time. It needs to be properly measured. You need to be able to, what a little trick I used to do is I used to take the meal I was having, I would stand on the scale with the meal, bare ass naked, and then I would weigh myself and see what I would weigh after I consumed that meal. I would use that strategically, and if it was literally, I would feel comfortable with maybe a half pound, something of that. It needs to be proper nutrition. Anything I was weighing over, I would take out the vegetables and I would be hungry that night. It's just the way it is. If you want to be a champion, you're going to have to make sacrifices, and this is one of those times you're going to have to go to bed hungry. You're going to have to go to bed dehydrated. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, after we make weight, what are we going to do? The first thing we do after we step on the scale, we make weight. Boom. We're going to start hydrating. Okay, with bodybuilding, you need to be careful. You need to be careful for overflow, so we can't put too much into our system. However, you want to get something in your system high in electrolytes. I recommend something of like Pedialyte. Okay, it's used for little children who have vomiting or diarrhea. Instant hydration. It gets the electrolytes and it gets you hydrated properly. A number 2 option would be something of like a Gatorade. Has some electrolytes in it as well. That's a good option. As far as powerlifting, as far as wrestling, we would do Pedialyte. You need to be careful with food amounts post sucking weight. What I found out the hard way is your body will reject, if you put in a lot of food in your system, heavy foods and not easily digestible, your body will instantly reject it. So there's been countless times where I would weigh in, step on the scale, get off, put down a 6-inch bacon ranch when I was in high school. I used to do it all the time. It was my Subway grinder. That's what I'd go to. Put down a 6-inch bacon ranch, put down a big-ass container of Pedialyte, and boom, 10 minutes later, I'd throw it all up. Your body just rejects it. You need to be very strategic here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take in some quickly digesting carbohydrates. My absolute favorite is something like pancakes. We can get some sugars going, a little sodium, pancakes, bacon, real maple syrup, and the Pedialyte to rehydrate ourselves. And that is something as far as wrestling or powerlifting. We wouldn't do that necessarily for bodybuilding. Bodybuilding, we would do some complex or some quick digesting carbohydrates like pancakes. That's what I use to recarb up, but that's only because you're sucking weight and you're probably a little flat and you need to get that food in to really swallow yourself out. Now, a mistake I have made before, and this happened at the Natural Mania as well, because I haven't cut weight in so long and I haven't wrestled in so long since college, which was 4 years ago, I completely forgot to rehydrate properly. So I was doing about 6 ounces of water just to, get some water into the muscle, because water is 75% or 80% of our body is water. So when we take the water out, our muscles naturally get smaller. So we put in about 6 ounces of water every 2 hours to start getting it into my system again and start filling out. Come at the end of the show, I was so excited I got the win, I didn't even think to rehydrate. So what happened was, I'm driving home and I start getting a mild headache. Little, faint headache in the back of my eyes. Justin's with me. We just won our pro cards. We're all jacked up. We're talking. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I got home. I think I took maybe 3 steps in the door. I was at my parents' house. Everyone's all excited. Boom. Passed out. Hit the floor. Dehydrated. I had no electrolytes. I had no fluids in my system. I passed out cold. Went to the hospital. I woke up with dual IV bags pumping into me. And this was an issue for me because I was competing in another 2 weeks and I looked like the goddamn Michelin Man because I was filled with fluids. So, it's very, very important to rehydrate properly after cutting weight. Do not skip this step. Do not be an asshole like me. Don't fall face flat on the floor and pass out. That about covers it. If you have any questions for me, and I hope you do because I'm an absolute professional in this aspect of competing, please comment below. Please do us a favor, support HybridPhysiques and subscribe. And I think that's it. So HybridPhysiques is out.